Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine, and today we're welcome with Mr. Cowpoke Paul. How we doing, man?
Yeehaw, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed. Excited to be here,
Too.
especially after doing all this research. You've done so many great things and so many fun events. I'm excited. I'm excited to get this ball rolling.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me. I got my cowboy boy hat over here. I opted for headphones though, but I got it nearby. Got a little one of these too. Got to keep that close by, so I'm
Okay.
prepared.
You're prepared. Got the hat and the horse ready to
That's
go.
right. I'm ready to go.
Before we dive in, would you like to shout out like social medias and things like that? Just let the fans know where they can catch you.
Oh yeah, pretty much Cowpoke Paul and everything. Instagram mainly, YouTube short. For some reason, I love posting a lot of YouTube shorts, so I do a lot of those. Facebook, Cowpoke Paul, but yeah, Cowpoke Paul pretty much everywhere.
Nice, simple, like it, easy.
Hmm.
Uh, we've done a short version of this before at Exodus.
Yeah.
So some of these questions I might reiterate just in case they for like didn't catch that for whatever reason. Maybe they was under a rock or something. But uh, so my first question, plain and simple: when did you find professional wrestling?
So that would have been in about 2021. I started training at Ryse Wrestling. It was kind of the pandemic was still going on, so I was kind of in the house a lot. Didn't have a lot going on, so I decided I wanted to try it out. And I'm originally from Maryland, that kind of Western Maryland area. So I reached out to the schools nearby, and yeah, I got hooked up with Ryse Wrestling and Brandon K. Originally started training there, and that was about 2021. So that was when I
Okay,
first found it.
and that was right after the pandemic. You said right.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, what did like that training process look like for you? I'm gonna assume it might have been a little bit different just because of the pandemic and everything changing after the pandemic. So, like, what did that experience look like, at least for yourself?
So not only that, but also Rise was in between buildings when I started training. So I would say I didn't really have a traditional class. It was really just most of the time it would just be two or three of us in there. But I think it helped in a way because it was very hands-on and very personal training. So yeah,
How long did you train before you actually like got the debut?
it was about 9 months. So I believe I started in April of 2021, and had my first match in November of 2021.
Okay.
So it took a couple months to get going, but I was training. I was in the training center as much as they would let me be in there. So sometimes 3, 4 days a week. So
What was some of the biggest things or takeaways maybe you got from the early stages of your training?
mm, I get it's almost hard to say because there's like so much you just don't expect. You don't really. I don't think anybody really knows what they're getting into fully, and then so it's kind of hard to pinpoint one thing. I don't know. I guess just how much it all hurts. I guess. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Um, so you've been working with Rise at least pretty much your entire career, still to this day.
yep. Yeah, that's where I started out. Got a show coming up next Saturday, the 12th. So,
Nice.
mhm.
Overall, how important would you say like Rise has been to your career, and like what would you say like have been the biggest contributions or things you've been able to learn from that promotion alone?
Mhm. Well, yeah, it's been instrumental. They trained me from the ground up, so I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for Rise, I would say. And they've also just given me so many opportunities to learn from people like Ron Mathis and Donovan Dijak and Lee Moriarty. Have wrestled some top level talents there, and it's all just helped me so much along the way and gotten me to be the wrestler I am, I would say.
What's a goal within Rise that you'd like to achieve, like specifically there?
Specifically at Rise, I guess I would just want to do anything I can to kind of help them out in a way and
Okay.
reach a new level and grow their audience to just kind of help them out in the way they help me out. Um, but I'm always trying to be Rise Grand Champion again. He's trying to get that third one under my belt. We'll see.
You know, I noticed that you do a lot of work in West Virginia, which
Yes.
West Virginia holds a special place in my heart because that's actually where I'm from. I'm from Charleston.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so like I moved out here to Chicago when I was 10 or 11, something like that. But yeah, West Virginia always has a special place in my heart. So I always like to ask because West Virginia crowds are usually a little bit rowdier than others.
Yeah,
Do you
for
have
sure.
any crazy West Virginia crowd stories at all?
Yeah, not anything that jumps out at me. They are definitely wild and wonderful down there, as the slogan says. But no, I love going down there. It's always a good time, and honestly, it's very loyal fans. You see a lot of fans like travel around the whole state and go to a whole bunch of different shows, but they definitely get into it. Uh, Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody really getting out of hand or anything like that. Fortunately enough, at the shows I've been at, but they definitely get into it. And every fan I've dealt with in West Virginia, it's always been a pleasure. They're always really supportive and great people.
I love it. I know,
Hmm.
like when I was a kid going, we used to go to IWA East Coast shows. So it was
Okay,
ran by
yeah.
Madman Pondo
Yep.
back then. And like those shows were obviously more towards geared towards a hardcore audience or extreme audience. There's always death matches and things like that. So like I've seen some fans and wrestlers get pretty close. I've seen wrestlers go maybe a little bit further than they should.
Hmm.
And like I've had some crazy stories on here. So I always like to just see because I
Yeah.
don't think people understand how crazy a West Virginia crowd is until they make it there.
Yeah, for sure. The thing about West Virginia too is there's no athletic commission. So
No.
there's really no rules. It's kind of, if you got a ring, you can have a show tomorrow, which is, it's kind of awesome in a way. But there's some really great promotions down there. Like I just wrestled for Victory Championship Wrestling on Sunday, which is a Beast Man run promotion. And then you
Okay.
also got I'm wrestling at Appalachian Championship Wrestling tomorrow. They usually are based in West Virginia. Tomorrow they're in Ashland, Kentucky.
Okay.
But that's another great spot in West Virginia. And then there's also ASW run by Gary Dameron. That's a great one. So West Virginia, I think, kind of has a underweighted wrestling scene in a way.
I think so too. And like it's so much different than it was when I was a kid because like when I could be wrong, but the only shows we really saw was IWA East Coast when I was a kid, and they
Hmm.
traveled from like South Charleston to Dunbar, out to like Cabins Creek, and maybe even a little bit further. But like usually those were the like I don't want to say it was the only game in town, but as far as like my dad and the people around me were aware, it was the only game in town. So since I've left, it really seems like West Virginia stepped up their game as
Yeah,
far
for
as
sure.
even like the talent and the promotions all around just seems like it's evolved so
Yeah,
much.
for sure. I'll tell you, Appalachian Championship Wrestling, the promoter Moose, he's got a really great hookup. So he got to deal with Buffalo Wild Wings. So every summer, it's on like every other Thursday. He'll do a show at Buffalo Wild in the parking lot of Buffalo Wild Wings,
Ooh.
and those are always a great time because you get people that are just going to Buffalo Wild Wings and they realize a wrestling show is going on, and it's more of a family friendly show, but they're always so much fun. And yeah,
The thing is with I mean just West Virginia in general, it a huge population of the state are wrestling fans, believe it or not. So like just going to a Buffalo Wild Wings and seeing a ring outside, you're going to attract a crowd very
yeah,
easily.
exactly. Yeah,
You brought up a Beast Man. He just
yeah,
had a no rope barbed wire death match against Jamie Jameson, correct? At that,
yes, I was there. Yeah,
what was that like seeing something like that in person?
let me tell you that was a lot, or what do they call it, a curtain sellout for sure.
Okay.
That was everybody was sitting there on the edge of their seat for that one, and man, it was definitely a crazy match. I recommend everyone go watch it. It was crazy. But I mean, I love Beastman and I love pretty much everything he does. So I'm a big supporter of him. He's helped me out so much over the years, and yeah, it was crazy, nuts to see. There was I'll say it was nothing I would want to do, but I'm
Not your
happy
cup
that
of tea?
now I respect it. I think it's awesome that they did it. It's just not. I don't think I'll be signing up for any no rope barbed wire matches anytime soon. But
Yeah, it was cool because like I've been a fan of Beastman for quite some time, and then
mhm.
Jamie is a big supporter of the podcast. I've had him on a
Oh,
couple
nice.
times. So seeing Jamie and him get to do that, and like I'm a fan of hardcore matches and extreme matches and stuff like that, especially at the like independent level. Yeah, I think
Right.
it makes more sense at an independent setting and a live crowd setting. And I just seeing some of the images and the highlights. I haven't got to check out the full match yet, but it's definitely one. If we're throwing it out there, check out the promotion, check out Beastman, check out Jamie, because it looked like they tore the house down.
Yeah, for sure they did. Yeah, it was a great show. It's on YouTube actually, and yeah, it was a really great show. That was a great match. And yeah, I love both those guys too. They're always a great time to be around and nice guys.
You brought up ACW, also
Hmm.
in West Virginia, somewhere you were very prominent. You've gathered quite the accolades and things like that
Yep.
there.
Hmm.
How important have they been to your career so far?
Oh, great! It was one of the first places that ever started to like use me regularly outside of Ryse, so that was always great, and I'm very thankful for that. Got hooked up. Facade hooked me up. We used to ride down there together, which was always a blast. And yeah, they gave me some really good matches too, and helped me learn along the way. And the other thing, they always took care of us whenever we were traveling, which is always much appreciated. So.
Which, I mean, it kind of leads me into my next question. I'm gonna pull up a picture here,
Hmm.
but this picture is you
Oh yeah,
with
wow!
Wildfire Tommy Rich.
Yeah, Team Wildfire right there.
What was your experience like, tagging with Tommy, and like what were some of the things you was able to learn
Oh,
from working alongside him?
it was just great. It's honestly just one of those things where you got to keep your ears open because all of a sudden he's going to say something that just makes so much sense. Kind of a funny story. It was that was actually the second time I tagged with him. The
Okay.
first time I tagged with him, I had never met him before, but we showed up and it was kind of like a convention show. So we show up, but he's kind of at a table like signing autographs and doing all that. So I didn't really want to, obviously I wanted to go up and say, hi, I'm tagging with you tonight, but I didn't want to disturb him while he's like signing autographs and stuff. So I'm kind of waiting around, and then eventually someone comes tell me they're like, "Hey, Tommy wants to meet you." And I'm like, "All right, so let's go over there." And he's sitting over there with Shane Douglas, and so I walk up and I go, "Oh, hi, Tommy. I'm Paul. I'm going to be tagging with you tonight." And he goes, "Oh, great. I can't wait. I love your work. I love your work." And Shane looks at him going, and he goes, "Tommy, you've never seen him wrestle before." And Tommy goes, "Yeah, but I can tell. I know it's going to be good. It's going to be fun." And then
That's amazing.
that was I guess I don't know what I guess he just took a look at me and decided it was going to be fun, and that's all he needed to see.
Okay. So
But
I mean, he just saw you and liked the look, I'm guessing.
yeah, I guess so. He figured he's a cowboy, so I guess we'll be all right. And then and then we were. It was a great time, and it was super easy, and just kind of follow Tommy's lead in that one.
So how many times have you got to work with him then? Twice?
Yeah, twice.
Twice?
Hmm.
Uh, did he give you any feedback after the match?
He just said he liked the energy, and he was very adamant that it's, if you're having fun, they'll have fun. So just
Okay.
kind of keep that in mind and do that.
So, like, something I also thought was really cool about doing like research for you,
Hmm.
you're one of the rare few that's had quite a few no ring style matches where there's no
Yeah.
ring involved.
Hmm.
What for one, what's it like for you trying to go into one of those matches? I mean, I'm sure trying to structure a match
Hmm.
without a ring is
Hmm.
difficult. Like,
Right.
what's that like? And then, like, how are you approached whenever the promoter's like, "Hey, we're gonna have you do this, but there's no
Hmm.
ring involved."
Well, I honestly think it's a challenge that has honestly helped me out a lot because you got to think of ways to be entertaining that don't involve like doing moves. If does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
you don't want to fall down when there's no ring. So it's like now you kind of got to get your creative juices flowing to figure out, all right, how can I be entertaining and how can I do things to where I'm not going to get hurt because there's no ring. So I kind of enjoy that challenge and like trying to think of ways that I can, just have fun and do cool stuff without, putting too much tax on my body. I guess I would say it like that. And then I think it honestly translates to regular shows because it's like when you can't rely on moves, you really got to bring an energy. And then when you bring that amount of energy to a ring where you can do moves, now it's like, okay, now it's almost added to, I feel like.
Do you have a favorite no ring style match you've
Ooh.
been a part of?
Oh man, I had one at 123 Pleasant Street against MV Young. That was really fun. I was proud of that. The first one I ever did was against MV Young too in Gainesville, Florida. That was one I was proud of. And yeah, I would say those two were fun. I had a couple with Brandon St. James. Those were always a blast. And yeah, I mean, they were just always good times. People always kind of, I see why they would do it. They kind of cast them in a negative light, and I can see why it's very easy to get hurt. But I think when you do it the right way, it's entertaining and fun for everybody. So,
Definitely.
mhm.
So, like, the first time I saw you,
Mhm.
honestly, was on a live stream I was doing for the IWC.
Oh, nice.
How did you get to be a part of them, or like work with them and get into the kind of, how'd you get involved with them? Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so they have an event every year called the reset button, and
Okay.
kind of the I'm trying to think of the right word, but like the idea of the reset button is like anybody can be drawn from it. So I was kind of one of the surprises they wanted to use as a surprise in the reset button, and I think everybody, and myself included, like you got a when I came out, it got a really great reaction, and it was kind of like, oh well, that's pretty cool. So then I think we kind of ran with it a little bit, and I think it kind of caught fire in a way, and then just it was fun. And I think everybody involved was like, yeah, we should keep this going. So that's how I kind of got started there.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then kind of the next place I saw you, or actually met
Hmm.
you in person, was during NWA Exodus.
Yeah,
Recently, I did a sponsorship with them, and you were one of the first in-person interviews I've ever done in my
nice.
so far podcasting career.
Hmm.
How did you once again start working with NWA Exodus, and tell us what it was like, getting in touch with EC3 and, being around somebody like EC3.
Yeah, well, once again, the first place I ever met EC3 at was at Ryse Wrestling. He did a seminar there when
Nice.
he wrestled Ron Mathis and PB Smooth there. But
Ooh.
I did his seminar, and that's when I first met him. And he watched my match at the Rise show, and he seemed to like it. So I just kind of stayed in contact after that, and also two of my riding buddies and two of my best friends, Jason Hendricks and Gorgeous Gregory. When Exodus was doing the co-op school, they signed up for the first semester, and they must have well, I know they really improved, and they seemed to really enjoy it. So then when the second one came around, I was kind of like, well, all right, I want to do that too. So then I moved to Cleveland, moved in with Jason Hendricks, signed up for the school, and trained up there for about 3 months, and it was an absolutely fantastic experience. I mean, 3 days a week training and training hard too. It really whipped me into shape, and I learned a lot about wrestling and being a wrestler that I hadn't before. So I would say that, and yeah, definitely getting to learn from EC3 and Rex Brody. It's really fantastic because it's just they have years of experience, and they're willing to work with you and very hands on and help you out and improve.
And something I've noticed about Exodus is like when you guys go to the shows, whether you're in a match or whether you're in a segment or even on commentary, they do their best to really highlight you as part of that show. Uh,
Mhm.
like I remember it was not the last event, but the event before that you did commentary, I believe.
Yeah. Hmm.
How did they approach you with that? And is like commentary something you enjoy doing? Could you see that be something you also do when maybe you're not wrestling?
Hmm. It's always kind of one of those things. It's like, yeah, maybe I'd try it one day. And then one day they're just kind of like, hey, we need a third guy on commentary. Would you be willing to do it? It's kind of like, I've never thought talking's necessarily my strong suit. So, I was a little bit nervous about it, but I'm definitely not going to say no. So so it was a little nerve wracking. I would say I was nervous for it, but I ended up having a lot of fun. Luckily J Rock was there with me, so I'm a big fan of J Rock. Gotten to ride in the car with him a little bit, so that really helped me out. He helped me through it, and yeah, hindsight, it was a great experience. I loved it. I'd love to do it again and do it some more.
What would you say, or what do you think is next for you at Exodus?
Hmm. I'm just gonna. it's hard to say really. But I'm just gonna keep working my hardest and see what comes my way. I'll Cristiano Argento's always messing around, so he might have got the better of me. So maybe I gotta bark up his tree a little more. But I'll be ready for anything, whatever comes my way. I'll be ready to do it and happy to do it. I love working there. It's really there's such a wealth of knowledge there. If you really keep your ears open, you can learn some really great stuff that you can take and improve whenever you wrestle. Really.
I think the one of the biggest things about Exodus that makes it stand out is how close to a television product it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And and you don't get that a lot at the independent level.
Yeah,
So,
really
like,
ever. Yeah.
Exodus is like I always like when I talk about Exodus, I kind of compare it to like the next step above an
Mhm.
independent promotion because there's indies that I mean they do like shows on Triller and IWTV and things like that, but then you got Exodus who's posting a live broadcast on YouTube on the NWA YouTube page, and getting sometimes more views than the NWA is,
Mhm.
and just how they structure the show, how it's formatted. It's a lot different than what you're going to see at an indie event. Because I mean, I think the first thing that stuck out was the first Exodus show I went to. I went with my siblings, and they were doing live interviews. And my brother looks at me, he's like, "Why aren't they doing that like pre-taped? Like, why isn't it on a screen?" And I was like, "Because it's live. Like, with this is like you're watching Monday Night Raw."
Mhm.
And he just was so confused, and I was like, this is what makes it different. And
Mhm.
is that something that they try to prepare you for whenever you guys are in class and in training, and even maybe before shows, just to let you guys know, hey, this isn't your typical like indie or territory, like we are really focused on making this look like a television product?
Yeah, for sure. And I think like that's one of the most appealing things about them, like the spot is it's just such a great learning experience. Obviously the ultimate goal would be to do something like that every week. So it's a great learning experience, like kind of working a more TV style production, and it's one you're not going to get, at least from what I've found, many other places. So it's just great to learn like that, and I think very valuable and something that I love for sure.
No, you've also got to do some work with Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where
It's
where
similar
did
too.
where'd that come in?
My good buddy needed a ride down, and so I had a car, so I drove him down, and it just kind of one thing led to another. Got a couple opportunities there, and yeah, it was a blast. I loved working there. Similar to Exodus, it's like that learning that TV style, which is always just so valuable. And I mean, the talent of Exodus too, but the talent down there is just really phenomenal. And yeah, I loved working down there.
Were you able to gain any advice or any pointers from Al Snow or Doug Bash?
Yeah, for sure. They were always handing out, you know, good advice and stuff like that, and how you can improve and how to work TV better, and put size on things like that. So, yeah, definitely.
You know, recently you got to do a little spot, I believe also at Appalachian Championship Wrestling, and JBL showed up.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy
So,
for sure. Yeah.
what was it like, and was you expecting for Mr. JBL to arrive at Appalachian Championship Wrestling and maybe give you a little assist?
I definitely wasn't. It's one of the great things about Appalachian Championship Wrestling is they do some of shows at these like wrestling conventions, so you get to meet and see a lot of the legends and things like that. And it was kind of one of those things where they said, "Well, somebody, if they start beating you up, it sounds like JBL's coming out." So then it was kind of like it's one of those things. It's like the kid in you has. It's kind of hard to keep it inside. It's like, oh man, it's WWE champion JBL in the ring right now. It's definitely great, but it was awesome to be a part of for sure. And it's like the crowd went nuts for him, and it was awesome.
You've been able to share the ring with so many incredible people, so many legends. Do you have, like, so far in your career, a moment or a match that stands out to you as your favorite so far?
Uh, I mean, I would have for me, I'd have to say me versus Donovan Dijak. It just felt like a lot really clicked for me in that one, and then he was so helpful and sent me a lot of critiques after, and it was a great learning experience for sure. And that was one of the better ones. Lee Moriarty, the same thing. I would say it was just they seemed so willing to help, and you know teach. So that was I would say those two for sure pop into mind.
Nice. Who
Mhm.
do you have any favorites like from growing up that maybe are still competing in the ring that you'd like to
Ooh.
have a chance to tie up with?
Man, I was always a big Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder guy. Definitely, that'd be a dream one for sure. I got to be in a rumble with Rhino, but the first ever indie show I went to, Rhino was on, so that's one I'd really like to have. That was cool, and yeah, I would say those are the two for me:
Gotcha. Matt
Rhino, Matt
Cardona and
Cardona.
Rhino.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
like it. Um, I've been fortunate to meet both of them, and they're both great guys.
Really, I've met Rhino. I've done a
Well,
Rhino set a
Rhino
lot.
is a great guy. I'll put it
Yeah,
that way.
he's hilarious. He's so funny. He always says something that's a little crazy, but always gets a laugh. It's great.
Exactly. Like, I guess fun story about Rhino. I met him up here at Chicago Style Wrestling. He was doing an event, um, and I obviously I approached him and I was like, "Hey, I want to have you on the podcast." And he's like, "How about come to Monroe, Michigan for my show and we'll talk about it?" And I was like,
Oh,
Okay, I'll sure. That just tell me when." He gave me a little thing and it was like, "This is the next event. Show up. We'll talk about it." Drove out 5.5 hours, and I showed
oh
up,
wow.
and I waited till after the show and I talked to him and he was like, "You really came, huh?" I was like, "Yeah. I mean, I want you on the podcast. I gotta, if the boys are making the towns as a podcaster, I'm gonna show the respect and do the same thing." And he was like, "Well, here you go. We'll make it work." And we panned out, and then I got him on here for 30 minutes and was one of my highest interviews until recently when Mike Santana took that hat. But
Oh,
no, Rhino's a great guy. And I feel like he was testing me like, "Hey
yeah.
kid, if you're serious, drive 5 hours and come see me." And
Hmm.
was he? You could tell he was like, "You really drove out here, didn't you?"
Hmm.
It was cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear.
What would you say, are some of the bigger goals that you have remaining for the remainder of 2025? Like, where's Cowpoke Paul want to be at the end of 2025?
Uh, a lot of my goals, a lot of the things I'm focusing on are like trying to get in shape. I'm trying to control. They always say, you should control what you can control. And I think I'm trying to force myself into that mindset more. You know what I mean? To not get so hung up on like, oh, I didn't get this or I didn't get this or like I'm not excited because I'm not having these kinds of matches. I'm just trying to focus on being in the best shape I can be, having the best gear I can have, and just being the best wrestler I can be. So I guess I would just say any match, I want to be able to have a good match no matter what they put in front of me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Cowpoke, I want to say thank you first and foremost. This was a great time. I'm
Yeah, I had
glad
a
we could talk
blast. Thank you
about.
for having me.
Of course, I'm glad we could talk about Tommy Rich and JBL, EC3, things like that. It's always fun.
Hmm.
Um, we've had you on here once. We've had you here on twice. If you ever want to come back on for part three, I'd love to have you, man.
Oh, I'd love to be back. Hey, maybe we can do another in person one if I ever next time we bump into each other.
Definitely, definitely. I always bring the equipment, and I'll come ready with some questions.
Sweet. I love to hear it.
Sounds good, man. I know we did at the beginning of the podcast, just in case for some reason they wasn't paying attention,
Yep.
scrolling through comments or something. You want to shout out your social medias one more time?
Yeah, just Cowpoke Paul and everything. Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. A big YouTube guy. So, um, but yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
All
I'll leave this at see you next time.
right. Yeehaw.